All right, coming up here on the show, Senator Stupak saying several Democratic lawmakers will shoot down that health care bill if it keeps the abortion amendment. Take a listen.
Why would we vote on it or vote for it, send it to the president so he can sign it, it becomes law, then the special deals are law, and then trust that they're going to fix it later?
Why Governor Huckabee says the measure is a slap in the face. That's next.
And we've been talking about this, a hotel overlooking Ground Zero. Are they exploiting the tragedy or are they honoring it? Hear from a 9/11 first responder who's outraged about this.
Welcome back here to Fox and Friends. 47 minutes now past the hour. Well, President Obama is now delaying his trip to Asia this week, trying instead to work on pushing health care through. But the abortion issue is still a major sticking point despite promises to fix the language later. Take a listen.
First of all, members don't like the Senate bill, especially with the special deals in it. So why would we vote on it or vote for it, send it to the president so he can sign it, it becomes law, then the special deals are law, and then trust that they're going to fix it later? It's not just me. Many members said they don't agree with that process.
Governor Mike Huckabee is the host of Huckabee, and he joins us here now. Hi, Governor.
Good morning.
Okay, so I think so many people are confused about this. There are already federal funding is barred from going to pay for abortions, but people like Bart Stupak are afraid that that will change in this health care reform?
It does change in the Senate bill, and there's a little gimmickry going on because the reason it's prohibited is the Hyde Amendment. But the Hyde Amendment deals with funding specifically related to those things which come through Health and Human Services. The Community Health Center, of which there's going to be an additional $11 billion, is outside of that budget. So there's nothing that would prohibit it. Now, that's when the senators say, we're not changing the Hyde Amendment. That's true. It's the truth, but it's not the whole truth. And that's where representatives like Stupak and many others, pro-life people, say this is disingenuous.
Yeah, it sounds like the law's at least going to be bent. But Stupak had a dozen people that were with him. Now
Yes.
it appears they are falling off gradually. And it appears they are going forward, the Democrats, with or without them at this point, right?
Well, it appears that way. There's more reasons to be opposed to this bill than just the abortion, though for those of us who are pro-life, that's reason enough. You shouldn't be using taxpayer money, and there's a couple of other provisions that make it uncomfortable for pro-life people. For example, that a portion of the premiums would go to people who would use the money for abortion. But beyond that, it's still a bill that you pay in 3 years before you get any benefits. It's the equivalent of renting an apartment and paying for it 3 years before you ever get to spend your first night. There are just many reasons this is a terrible approach, and they need to start over.
Do you think Democrats are going to go around the anti-abortion funding Democrats? Because now we're hearing language that it seems like they might just step aside, not even try to get these guys on the ticket to begin with. And a pro-life group has come out and said, look, pass health care, because passing health care supersedes the abortion issue.
What pro-life group was that?
Well,
I can't
25
imagine.
pro-life Catholic theologians and evangelical leaders sent a letter to Congress yesterday urging them to not let misleading information about the abortion provisions in the Senate go forward, and they want health care pushed forward instead of
That
the abortion.
surprises me, and I'll tell you why. I led a conference call the other day with about 60 to 80 leaders from conservative, Christian, and pro-life organizations. There's a website called callcongressnow.com that has every senator in Congress listed with their phone numbers so that people can get on the phone. There was not one person who did not say, we've got to make our constituencies aware this is the most pro-abortion legislation since 1973. It really shocks me that the Catholic bishops would go there.
All right, sir, got to wrap it up. And I know tonight Karl Rove, the author of Courage and Consequence, on Huckabee, 8 o'clock Eastern Time. Thanks for coming by today. We appreciate it.
Good to be here.